You. And by the way, MC is meme curative. It is the opposite of a meme pathogen. MP, you are a white supremacist, racist, anti-Semite, etc. The MC, of course, is only anti-whites use the language of white oppression, white erasure. Everyone of every race and background is permitted to support white well-being. Again, the MP, you are a white supremacist. You are a racist. You are an anti-Semite. Now remember, these work both ways. This is not just a conversation that you can be having with someone in your world, but it also is the conversation happening in your head from your subconscious mind. It's saying to you that, wait a second, if you listen to this guy in the white shirt with that thing on his chest, which I'll talk about in a bit, people are probably wondering what this glorious thing is on my chest, and I'll share that in a bit. If you listen to him, well, then that makes you a white supremacist. If you listen to him, that makes you one of those racists. That's happening in your head right now. I know, I can hear it. I can hear what you're hearing because the same thing happens in my head. We were all victimized in the same way. We were all infected in the same way. The difference is I'm willing to admit it. Are you willing to admit it? And are you willing to then combat it? You have to turn around to that little voice in your head. And you have to say that only anti-whites use the language of white oppression and white erasure. Why was I victimized with that? Why am I hearing that in my head? Why am I remembering movies and books and TV shows, etc., as though that was the real world? Why am I seeing all of that as though that was the real world? Why am I reading history books that have citations of other history books that have citations of other history books, and nothing is first or primary sources, and accepting that as fact? Why am I doing that? Why did I do that? Only anti-whites would say such things. MC. This is an MC, folks. White supremacy, hate, racism, all of these things are anti-white slurs. So we always put it in the quotes. They don't exist in our world. They don't exist in the real world. They only exist in that anti-white narrative where Western kind is being white erased. White supremacy is a slander used on white people who are not anti-white. White supremacy is a slander that is used on white people who are not anti-white. Does that make sense to everyone? But it was fantastic. It was hilarious. Here's the next one, and I think this might be the last one I have for you, MC. So we might have a little bit of time for any questions at 8.5 minutes before we roll forward into the next segment, which is going to be even more glorious than the first segment. And it is this. When you say, now remember, this is a meme curative. So you have the issue of the voice in your head, the feelings that are welling up within inside of you, right? You have to contend with that. That's part of the process of going free, curing yourself of these meme pathogens. You then have the people outside of you. The people you're going to speak to that you're trying to help go free, and the anti-whites you're going to defeat in argumentation and confrontation. And you're going to walk away for the first time in your life feeling like the hero that you are. We talked about this for a little bit, leveling up and leveling down the conversation depending on who you're talking to and what you're trying to achieve. So you're trying to get somebody to come over to go free, somebody you love, somebody you care about, and you'll say to them, listen, when you say white supremacy, that actually means white people. Do you realize that? It actually means white people in every case. And because when you say, well, it doesn't mean white people, then white people you're talking about there are the white people who are anti-white. So I really don't think that's not congruent with your character. I think you're a wonderful person. And this is a very ugly thought. So you must be misstating your actual sentiments. Let's try to get to the root of what you are saying. That would be how you would level down this particular MC and use it on somebody you're trying to bring over. If it's somebody otherwise, somebody who's just problematic, you level it up. You just call that anti-white what they are. When you say white supremacy, you mean white people. So when you say that white supremacy has to be crushed, you are saying that white people have to be crushed, which proves that you are anti-white.